Do you maybe want to hear my hot take first? Yeah, let's do that first. Take out your hot day. It might knock me off my stool, so I'll include him. Franz. Okay, no, unfortunately not. I understand and support you, but I can't reconcile it with my conscience. Why? Because he's only played 25 games, totaling 825 minutes. Just that alone is 400 less than, for example, Jaylen Brown now. More than 400 even. And he's still going to. So I would be surprised if he returns before the All-Star break. Could happen, but even if so, it will probably be closer to the Easter break. He's now returning in January. How long has he been out? Paolo missed 2 months with the same injury. Franz played his final game. January 18th, it was said 7 to 10 days. Then the hope is he will return to game action. So it could be. Yeah. I was also surprised. It apparently went faster than with Bank Hero. So it could be that we see him again in 4 days. So that would be the best case. Let me make the case. Yes, sure, make the case. The case is that he played outstandingly before his injury, that when he was fit he played better, plain and simple, than a Siakam, than a Jaylen Brown, than a Jared Allen, and that he was on his way, in terms of his level, possibly even securing one of those starting spots, if we just look at his playing level. And I fully understand that the injury weighs against him, and I have also tried to put aside the German fan perspective here. But seen over the season, so we must not forget you are a star in one season. And seen over the season, if he now returns and plays the same number of games for the rest of the season as a Brown and a Siakam still play, then what he has now missed in relation to the complete season, also in terms of minutes, is not as significant as the difference may have been so far. Now one could say, hey, come on, Ben Carroll it wouldn't be such a big difference for the whole season. But Franz has so far played more games than Ben Quero, played more minutes. Then he has. That's why I think for Franz it doesn't matter as much that he has missed so much so far, as with a Paolo Banchero. Franz, we don't have to talk about, who presumably would have been the most improved player of the two of us if he hadn't been injured, has played on a crazy level as the first option, and has kept the Magic on track within a stretch of 25 players. He ignored his critics a bit, justified this contract for the people who have seen this contract as unjustified. If we now compare the playing level, then in my opinion he definitely belongs in the one or the other importance, perhaps his extension. More intense than I do. I think in relation to the complete season it does away as much that he has missed these games now, and being an all-star for me is an award, a recognition that applies to the entire season. Just bad luck that he missed so much in this initial phase. But that should, I believe, not prevent him from at least being a reserve here. If you now say no way, I would at least still make the case that he could possibly just be included as a reserve and then replace one of the guards with him. In my eyes, glass is removed as much as possible. Franz Wagner is an all-star this season, and he will come back now. I think he won't have any long-term aftereffects, who will pick up again, and then continue to play better until the end of the season than Jacob and Brown, and Nate Bayo and Johnson, and whoever else the competitors are. And that's why he is here, to me an all-star. He would have been 100% all-star if he had played the games, and he hasn't missed enough games to make him not an all-star with 100% certainty. It has become 100% all-star probability in my eyes, a 60% probability, but not somehow. So much so that I haven't discounted him for the injuries. At least would you agree with me that he looked 100% if he had played all the games so far at the level he was? Yeah. Then he would have been after Mobley/Towns. Definitely the second name here in the front court reserves. Yes, players now agree that you will completely remove him. The discrepancy is too big for me compared to others, but I understand and find it cool. I'm on board. I know that from others, and especially Jonathan, he's always big on looking at minutes in games. But for me, that's not as big a factor as for many others. Like, bro, then you've just played 5 fewer games than someone else. Then you haven't played 3.5 minutes less. Played, yeah. If you were just better during the time you played, then it's not such a big criterion for me. So I have to honestly admit, I have looked at players where I knew, okay, they were injured, they missed time. I have looked at how many games they played. I haven't even looked at any minutes, to be honest. I've just looked at who I liked the best so far, and who played the best. And if a player like Ben Carroll hasn't missed almost everything, then that wasn't a big decisive factor for me, to be honest. Think a little differently, but I can understand why other people put much more emphasis on minutes and such. It's just not such a big deal for me. I understand it, but it is. Siakam has played 43 games and Franz Wagner 25, nearly 200% of Siakam's and 100% of Wagner's games. The Siakam case is better for me. When the discrepancy reaches a certain point, especially in All-NBA voting, it matters more. For the All-Star, it's historically meaningful but doesn't require perfecting every detail. However, a big discrepancy is a major factor for me, though I understand you place less importance on it. Sure, if both play at a similar level on similarly good teams, then it certainly makes the difference in terms of high-impact performances. But I think that Franz, in his 25 games so far, even if, sure, you can come up with offensive rating or something, but I just think that Franz has overwhelmingly played significantly better than Jacob so far this season. In a more important role. You just said it. You can come up with offensive rating or something, you damn nerd. I constantly bring that up in every video, but only when it supports my case. Otherwise, it's just an irrelevant nerd statistic. Let's migrate to the West, I would suggest.